When Periwinkle woke up from her crash, she had hurt her leg and she was dazed and confused. Ow, my head and my leg, Periwinkle added. She trembled as she walked and looked around for directions. Wait, where am I? Periwinkle asked. Periwinkle looked around and then saw a window. Ooh, I know. And she trembled toward the window and used her magic to open the window, since it was locked from the inside. Once she got inside, she had fallen into the sink and then fell face first on the floor. Ow! And a bit of pain came on her face. Periwinkle turned around and then saw the fridge. She gasped to see no ice maker. Ice machine, you get it. On the fridge. Wait, no ice machine? Wow, just what I wish for my birthday. First, I live with a bad caregiver, heck, her daughter's even worse, and now I end up somewhere I don't even know of. Periwinkle said angrily. Periwinkle finally realized that she can use her magic to teleport an ice machine. On the fridge. Yes! And did it. Now, I just have to find a measuring cup and a plastic spoon or fork. It took Periwinkle a little while until she finally found what she was looking for. And she got crushed ice. Of course. When George heard the ice machine, he went downstairs to see what was happening. Hey, I'll be right back, George said to his sister Cleo. Cleo had came over over to his house with Jack for a visit, and Jack was her son. George came out into the kitchen saying, "Ha!" Periwinkle put down the measuring cup on the kitchen counter and gasped when she saw George. Periwinkle said, bark? Bark, 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 bark. I'm a dog. Don't hurt me. George let out a yell that startled Periwinkle even more. Ah! Periwinkle asked, "Why did you startle me?" George stood there in shock, as if he was going to faint. Who are you? How did you get here? Get in here, George asked. I used my magic to open the window and to teleport the ice machine, Periwinkle added, and she pointed to the fridge with the ice maker. George couldn't believe what he was seeing. His mind was dizzy. Before he could faint, he ran upstairs like a madman to get a trap for the magical talking not real creature, he thought to himself. Periwinkle said, "Hey, wait!" George stopped like he was froze. What? He asked in a hurry. Can you heal my leg? Periwinkle asked, making a puppy face. George didn't answer. He just continued to run upstairs. He first got the first aid from the bathroom and then the trap from his room. George went back downstairs and saw Periwinkle was sitting on the counter. George said, I'll heal your leg, but then you are out. George tried to help Periwinkle's leg, but fumbled as he did so. Periwinkle hopped off the counter, and George just kept telling her to leave. But when she refused for the final time, George got the trap and shot her her wing. Ow! Ow! Periwinkle muttered for a few minutes, and then her vision became blurry, and she fell over on her side. George checked Periwinkle's pulse and sighed with relief. Oh good, still alive. And he put her in a dog cage. George looked at the gray and white feather onto Periwinkle's wings, and back to the feather a couple times and said, "The feather is the same one as on her wings. But how?" George asked himself. George turned around to get a magnifying glass to take a closer look at the feather. Periwinkle struggled to stand. Plus, with the fact that her legs hurt, and she had to hold on to the top of the cage to stand. George turned around and was startled when he saw Periwinkle. "How did you get out of your cage?" George asked. "It was unlocked," Periwinkle said. "Oh, right," George said. It was a little quiet. George broke the silence. "What were you doing in my kitchen?" George asked. Periwinkle started to sniff the air curiously and asked, "Is it just me, or do I smell smoke?" George quickly took Periwinkle to the living room couch and then went back into the kitchen. Smoke was everywhere. George started to cough, and he felt like it was a poison potion. "I have to warn the kid. We have to get out," George said. Once George got out of the kitchen, he was coughing out the smoke from his lungs. He had to hang on to the couch so it would be easier.